do you think immortality is actually feasible for
Feasible for
human? Yes, I
Armin.
do.
Armin does
Yeah.
think so. Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing: when you say is it feasible, if what could stop it? Like, what is the actual barrier? The only barrier is time and knowledge. Like, is there something? Like, just think about it this way: how could it possibly? How could anybody think anything but it being feasible? People are like, oh, it's complicated. We don't understand how the brain works. Like, yeah, I know, but we will. Like, unless we're breaking the laws of math and physics, then there's no barrier other than the get knowledge that we don't have, and the technology and the time. Like, the technology and the knowledge that we don't have, it's only a function of time. Unless we go extinct, then we're gonna, at some point, we're going to maintain, like, achieve that. Like, why wouldn't we? How what is it within the fabric of the universe that is hard coded, that is going to physically stop us from achieving this? Like, I don't
Yeah.
understand what's the barrier. But
Yeah, I agree with that too. The question of secular rarity, like is it actually feasible? There's many ways you could achieve. Like immortality it's not just a matter of conquering disease and conquering death. It's a question of preserving consciousness, right? And I remember reading this in the '90s, right, when I was very young. There was an interview with Bill Gates, and before that, people used to say, "Well, the brain is," the conventional cliche was the brain is too complicated for technology to replicate because there's trillions of connections. And then as the first time I saw Bill Gates talking about it, he's like, the brain has this many trillions of connections, neural connections. And that's actually not so hard to do. That's something that we can actually do through like microchip technology. And he was talking about it like we can actually do this. So, downloading consciousness into electronic systems and preserving it, cybernetics, growing organs out of stem cells, growing, artificial organs. When you do that, when you actually blur what Elon Musk is doing with Neuralink, when you blur the lines between what's biological and what's sort of technological, right, in terms of electronics and all the other stuff, then when you bring all that stuff together, then yeah, of course, immortality is feasible.
yeah, I mean, and one thing else I want to add is most of the things that kills us is because of the body that we're in. I mean, I'm pretty sure once we become free of this body, then there you go. All the things that kills us, we're free from it. Like, once you manage to upload and download information, and we could basically go be independent from this body, what could kill us? Nothing.
Yeah, I think a more interesting question here would be what would happen if we did achieve immortality? How would we look at somebody dying of a car accident? It would probably
be the greatest tragedy.
Greatest tragedy. Like the way that we process trauma is going to intensify like manyfold because a loss is really, really going to be, it's going to hit you hard. There's so many other things. Like, what are you going to do with time? What are you going to do with, I've got milestones. What are the milestones going to be if you're immortal? What is a milestone then? There's so many different, we think of everything so in such temporal terms. That's, I think, a more interesting question.
By the way, Secular Rarity just gave us a $20. Wow, $20 super chat. Thank you so much, Secular Rarity. So
Thank you, Secular Rarity.
Sending support. I always appreciate what you all do. Thank you so much. But Ali, that was a very good point. Sorry, I need to mention this as well because that was a very good point. Future generations who don't die are going to look back at us with shock of how we dealt, like the fact that we actually died. You know what I mean? Like the way that we look at how crazy it is that, I don't know, 4 of your 5 children died in less than 2. Like, oh my God, people had to deal with that. The way that we look at people when they had to pull their tooth, they had to do it without anesthetics. I'm like, oh my God, I'm glad I don't live at that time. Future generations look back at us. I mean, like, these people, like their mother, the people who they love, they just died. Like, they would fall in love with somebody and they would have to watch them die from disease, like their body decaying. Like, oh my God, I can't believe they had to deal with watching the people that they care about in their life just completely just.
Hey, we were talking about future topics. I think we should have a whole episode on this because like there's so much, so many interesting things because initially this technology to become immortal is only going to be accessible to people who can afford it. So that class difference is going to be insane too. Can you imagine like some people just have to die, and other people can
I don't
live
think.
forever?
I don't think the I think the class difference is going to be like. I don't think once you figure out the technology, I don't think it's going to become expensive. I think like
No, but there will be a transitional phase where
it will be a short transitional phase. I think. Like
Bernie Sanders will come and make it available for everybody. So
I think it's going to become cheap. Like it's just once you understand how to do it, I think it's going to become so accessible. It's just like uploading data. Anyways.
Hey guys, if you want to join these streams live, get your comments and questions read by Ali and Armin and the guests, and most importantly, to get full access to the full video versions of all these episodes, become a patron. Link in the description below.